remember a few years ago, and I really don't know who it was. I do know I was speaking with a male, and this brother, we were talking, and this brother said to me, he said, "Brother Taalik, I think, this is just my personal opinion, I think that you are a loner. I think that you do better doing things by yourself." And I said, "You were 1000% correct. Although I speak on YouTube, although I have been on stages in this country, being a comedian, I have performed, sung and danced before not thousands but many hundreds of people. I have spoken in front of hundreds of people. I am a loner. Ever since I was a child, because of the situation that I had to deal with as a child, I found myself feeling better being by myself, along with my animal friends, my dog or pet chicken or whatever. I always have felt better by myself. So why do I show my face on YouTube? Why did I sing? Why did I dance? Why did I tell the jokes? Why did I do all these different things? I told the jokes and I sung and danced, and I wanted to be an entertainer because I love to see people smile. I love to see people happy. And my song and my dance and my jokes and things of this nature, it made people happy, and it brought joy to a person who was a loner with a lonely heart. That was my joy. And I do the same here in doing this ministry. Although loneliness, of which I love, some of you think that's bad, and we're going to talk about that. Although loneliness is my comfort zone, I am willing to give up being lonely in order to bring to us a word that will help us so that we won't be lonely, so that we can create positive people, better people, stronger people, people with content of character, all these different things that y'all talk about. But in this world filled with materialism, in this world where everybody's dog eat dog, you're not going to find that. It's better to be lonely and get away from the savages than rather be around them and end up as their prey. So, yes, I am a loner, but I also have a love for people, and I do enjoy being around people who have the correct state of mind. But I know and understand that in this world, we are surrounded by sick people in your family. Your wife becomes sick, your children's sick, the President of the United States is sick. So since I cannot run into a cave and become a hermit, then I just stay to myself and avoid all these issues brought to me by the sick. Look at you on YouTube when you come into the public. People talk about you for no reason. You don't even have to make a video. And some sucker will make fun of you and talk about you and just try to guess. You're living among savage, functional illiterate, drunks, pedophiles. Who knows what you're surrounded by? You have to build a ring of fire around yourself to keep these savages away from you. Because not only will they talk about you, but some of them will seek to take your life. So, coming on social media, for some of us who make videos, we get death threats just because of our opinion. But when I am alone, when I stay to myself, all these issues are void. All these issues I don't have to worry about. It's just me and my thoughts and my trying to reach out to the creation and understand life until this life leaves this physical flesh. The human being, it seems as though we have been conditioned. I'm not going to say that it's natural, but I'm going to say as human beings, we see, and it seems as though we are social beings. We prefer to be among family. We prefer to be married to somebody in a relationship. And some of y'all, you become obsessed with relationship. I got to have me a man. I got to have me a woman. We are family oriented. Let's have a family reunion. Let's get together as family. In the animal kingdom, when you see family among mammals, it is in a family setting. Just like many human beings, you have aunts and uncles and brothers and sisters in a family setting. Most of these times that you see these things in nature, it is due to survival. Because the more eyes, the more noses, the more animals you have in this pack, the better it is to look out for danger. And if this is the case, then if we are family, then how come we're not looking out for one another as family? We have all these family, and some of our family is in prison, some of our family is homeless on the street, some of our family is doing bad. You would rather them be homeless on the street than live with you because family can't get along, but y'all want family. So something is wrong. Family should be something that benefits us so that we are better equipped to survive. However, there is an opposite side, whereas you have animals who come together, they don't live as family. The male and the female will come together just to have a sexual, how you might say it, a one-night stand or whatever. And that's it. Then the female goes her way, the male goes his way. Some of y'all do that also. So when some of us talk about we need family, two-parent households, could you explain to me how come a male and a female animal can come together and then the male goes his way, the female goes their way, but the female will have those babies and she will raise male and female with no problem. And the male that she raised knows exactly what to do as a male. Explain that to me. You don't know what you're talking about. You just out here making up answers for things that you don't understand. But nature, if you examine nature, instead of examining the unnatural, nature will give you the answer. That any answer that you wish, most of it is already here. And for that, what you really want to know will come forth from the womb of a woman sooner or later. Will bring you the answer to whatever you're thinking about. The only thing that you need in this life is food, water, and shelter. Probably don't even need shelter. You can be a nomad and just live under a tree and go to the next tree or build temporary shelters. But you don't have to have sex. That is not a necessity. That's an option. But y'all have become so sexually charged and obsessed, you think that's unnecessary, and it's not. You think that you have to sleep with somebody. I got to have me a man. I got to have me a woman. You ain't got to have, you don't have to have that. You will live. You will survive very good without that. That's optional. It is better to be alone than in the company of a fool. We live in an environment surrounded by fools and idiots. Some of these fools have money, some of them don't. And above all, you may not even recognize that you are an idiot, that you are a fool. So fools and idiots can't live good together. And you see this in this environment all over this planet. A bunch of fools trying to live together. Selfish, materialistic, individualistic, mentally sick, believing in all kinds of fairy tales and fiction, childish and infantile. But however, those of us who understand these things and want to leave and stay away from the savages, although we might crave the man, we might crave the woman, we want to be with somebody, but we understand it's better to be alone than in the company of a fool, and there's less problems, because when you start messing with fools, here come the problems. And that's why y'all spend all your day on YouTube crying and whining, filled with problems. I can't do. They won't do. Why this, why that, over and over you. And you spend your mind trying to find answers to problems you will never have. We come into this world alone. You don't come into this world with a wife or a husband. You don't come into this world thinking about no sex or getting drunk and all this other stuff y'all try to present. You say to have fun. You come into this world alone, and you will die alone. Your wife is not going to go with you. Your children are not going to go with you. You're going to die alone. Even twins that come into this world, they develop together, but they come into this world alone. You come into this world by yourself, and you will leave this world by yourself. So what is the big uproar? I got to have me a man, I got to have me a woman and children. You ain't got to have none of that stuff. Those are optional. And when you get these things, they bring you more headaches and problems, because you come into a world filled with idiots and fools, people that suffer from these mental problems. I want to have children so they can take care of me. Some of y'all are blessed with children. When you get older, they will take care of you. However, all over this nation, rich and poor, middle class, you have old people in nursing homes, and ain't nobody taking care of them except people who are being paid to do that. So you run around, I want to have all these children so somebody can take care of me, and you're laying up in a nursing home. Somebody is being paid to give you a bath and feed you and all like that, and you had all these children, and they don't give a dang about you for real, because they have their life to live. Alone. When you spend time with yourself for a change, instead of running around trying to be with somebody else, alone makes it possible so that you can finally understand who you are. What is your purpose in life? How can you enjoy this little life that you have instead of running around trying to get together with other people? Because when you share your life with others, that means you have to compromise who you are. You have to learn what they are about. You don't have to be alone.
Can you believe that? Contrary to popular belief, there are some people out here that find sex disgusting. They are not interested at all. They are not homosexuals. They're just not interested in anything any interaction with somebody, messing with somebody else, genitalia. Just not interested. But let me get this. Let me bring up some points to a people who are oppressed and the sexual urge. You are in a messed up type of situation. And we need to view sex in a different manner than somebody who is in a different position. You claim that you are oppressed. You claim that you're not free, but you're acting, but according to your sexual behaviors and activities, you act just like you're free. You act just like you don't have a worry in the world. Let's talk about it real quick. Things that make you say, okay. We all will agree. None of us would be here without the sexual experience, without this sexual activity. Sex is natural. Bottom line, all right, that's cool. However, for us to be thinking about sex 24 hours a day, for us to surround ourselves by pictures of or symbols of vaginas and penises everywhere we go, and there's always a reference and people always talking about the sexual intercourse all the time, grown men and women. This is an obsession. This becomes an addiction. This is a mental illness. I always get my information from the study of what we call the natural world. This is what I find in the natural world. In many animal species, first of all, they only reproduce at a certain period of time, and the rest of the time, they are not interested in sex at all, period, whatsoever. And many animals reproduce. Now listen to this. Many animals reproduce according to their resources. This is why I don't understand about people who are starving. Why are you having babies and you're starving? You don't have enough food to sustain you, but yet it's still what little energy you have, you're going to direct it towards your sexual nature and bring a child into the world so it can starve. That is selfish. And the thinking process is insane. I never understood that. When you view some animals, when you place them in captivity, when you place them in a zoo, they stop sexual activity, period. They refuse to reproduce. That's why so many zoos get so happy when certain animals, some of the animals, there's always exceptions to the rule. So certain animals might mess around and have a baby or so, and they get so excited because many animals, when you put them in an environment where you take their freedom away from them, I guess it's their nature not to reproduce, so their babies would be slaves. This is not the situation that we find when we study the so-called Negro in America. The so-called Negro, the African American, the Hebrew Israelite, the black Muslims, the Nubians, whatever y'all want to call yourself, the black slaves of America have no problem in reproducing. You do it happily, in captivity, in incarceration. And when you are a captive people, when you are incarcerated people, you claim to be an oppressed people. When you produce families in the house of those who hate your guts, who oppress you, you make yourself docile in the fight to free yourself truly. Because now I got these babies, I gotta make sure they grow up. So you make yourself docile. Lordy Lord, it's gonna be a better day, so I'm not going to do nothing to free myself. I'm gonna have all these babies. And one day things will be better. One day things will change. Maybe if you wouldn't sit around screwing, you could change those days right now. But you're so busy in somebody's panties. You're so busy in somebody's drawers. Your sexual urge is used to keep you incarcerated. Your sexual behavior is used to keep you a slave. It's a distraction because the only thing on your mind should be freedom. But it's not. Now you're having families and all this other stuff, and your eye is no longer on the prize. And that prize should be liberation. That prize should be freedom. And all of you who run around here, you are living in the house of your oppressor and you having babies. Don't bring to me talk about how much of a revolutionary and you support liberation. That's a bunch of baloney. It is foolish for you to say things like that and you having babies in the house of the people who are denying you your rights, who are keeping you oppressed. Makes no sense. That's just like a chicken laying an egg in the foxhole. It makes no sense. And in this unnatural situation that we find ourselves in, the sexual degradation, the sexual insanity takes many different forms. So now you have the homosexuals and the transgenders and the bisexuals and the everything sexuals, whatever it is. But then you have a group that you never hear about, but they are there. They are there. There's a group we call the asexual. And the asexual is somebody who is just not interested in the sex crap. And that is good, especially for a people who are in a horrid condition. So your mind will be free so that you can concentrate on getting yourself up out of a horrid condition instead of spending your energy and your time on what's between your legs. Not only do you have asexuals, but you just have people who find sex just purely disgusting. Messing around and playing with a penis and playing around with a vagina. There's nothing, they see nothing pleasurable about it. Messing with urine and somebody's anus. They're not interested. And you think that there's something wrong with them. If the human being was in a situation where the human being was becoming extinct, perhaps that might be a problem. But in today's society, in modern times, that shouldn't be a problem. Because all y'all sexual perverts and freaks, you are having enough babies for them and many others. And many of you, you can play with a penis and you can play with vaginas, but you look at a roach and you look at worms and you're like, that's disgusting and that. How can you say that roaches and worms is nasty and disgusting and you sitting around playing with somebody's anus, penis and vaginas and all that stuff that goes along with that and that? I want to conclude with this. I don't know I've never knew Michael Jackson personally. And I know Michael Jackson had these children, and you know they are his children. But and also Michael Jackson was married to Lisa Marie and whatever. I think all that was a farce. I could be wrong. This is something that I believe. I normally don't deal with belief, but in this case, I'm going to deal with just my study of Michael Jackson. Being a Michael Jackson fan since 1977 and watching Michael Jackson and studying and reading the many, many articles, not just listening to the records, but all the interviews. Did you see Thriller when John Landis picked Michael Jackson up and swung him around or whatever? Michael was just giggling. This man was 25 years old acting like a little child. It is my belief that Michael Jackson was asexual. He did not care nothing about sex, period. He just wanted to enjoy his music, enjoy his life, and he felt comfortable around children because children are innocent. But see, we, the descendants of slaves born in America having dark skin, our main problem is we have been raised among an unnatural people. And these unnatural people have made the sexual experience, it's a game for you. Homosexuality is a game, transgender is a game, bisexuality, just playing around with stuff and whatever. It's all a game. Children allowed to play with stuff. It's just like giving a child a 38 special. And that's the reason why we find ourselves in, as far as the human experience is concerned, because you have a group of people who claim great intelligence, but they play with sex like it's a game. And all of you claiming all this high wisdom and intelligence, and you fall for the same old okie doke. You living with an unnatural people, and the only thing an unnatural people can do for a slave is show the slave unnatural ways. And of course, you was treated as animals, breeding stock. And we was treated like that for hundreds of years. All this intertwines in your mentality, and you have become very, very sick. So the bottom line is that we have to take another look at our behaviors if we expect to grow. Even if you get free from the oppressor and take this behavior, you cannot take this sick behavior into a new nation. I know that this is a hot topic. We love to talk about the single black woman. Is there really anything wrong with the single black woman and her children? Least to say, a woman cannot have children by herself, but I don't know what it is. These men take men out of the equation. A woman, to my knowledge, cannot have children without a man. And this child has two parents. So you keep talking about the single black woman raising children. Where is the single father that is not with his children? Why are you not asking that question? Well, she's stopping, is she? She's stopping him from seeing his children. How is she doing that? She has a grenade. She's using a submachine gun. What is she using to keep him away from his children? I get tired of hearing that nonsense by these so-called black men, these women won't let me see my children. You know how to get to the liquor store. You know how to get to the basketball game. Nobody's stopping you from doing what you really want to do. But when it comes to your children, oh, she's stopping me from doing that. She's stopping me from doing this. Get out of here. I have never, and you have never observed or even heard of a line of black men at City Hall, at a court, because I'm trying to get custody of my babies. Because you are not interested. You want to direct attention and try to make the single black woman some kind of villain. And in some cases, she is. There's no doubt about that. I know that people will use the children against the other partner. But I also know that in many cases, the other partner really not interested. So they're not really putting up much of a fight. And you can ask many of these women, and many of these women are not putting up a fight. It's a lie. Trying to make these sorrowful, pathetic black men look like they victims. Get out of here with that stuff. I want to talk about not only the single black woman, but I want to talk about what's wrong with being single, period. Who says that you have to be married? Who says that you have to be a mate? Who says that you have to get in bed with anybody? I'm going to present these points to you, because I know there are many of you, you're not really interested in all this jumping from bed to bed. You don't mind being by yourself. And you are surrounded by people. You must be a homosexual. How come you don't want a man? You must be a homosexual. You don't want no woman. All this crazy stuff. Because you don't want to be part of the madness. First of all of us, we are born alone. How many of you were born with somebody? Even if you have a twin, or you are part of a triplets or whatever, everybody is individuals. You cannot be born with somebody else. Well, I take that back. You have some people, they do share a body. But you know, they share a body, but they still are alone. They are alone. They have their own feelings. They are thinking their own thoughts. They are their own person. Their twin could die, but it won't have no effect on them because they are not the same. We are born alone. We are, all of us are born alone. We will all die alone. You will not die with your father. You will not die with your mother or your wife or your children. All of us, we were born alone, and we will pass this life alone. Even if we was in a car and all of us was killed in that car, we died at the same time, but your experience of death will be your experience of death. Mine will be mine. Yours will be yours. All of us are doing all our things separately. Everything on this planet is alone. Everything on this planet is alone. Each blade of grass, every microscopic animal, everything is alone. Nothing comes or is born as some kind of family. When the sperm meets the egg, you got one cell that meets another cell. They come together. The egg is alone. The sperm is alone. They come together. That's when they begin to form another being. But everything is alone. Our reality is based on you being alone. The universe, the reality that we have come into, is based on us being an individual being alone. It is not based and rooted in a family. This family thing is a religious concept ideology. It comes after the fact. And I'll tell you why. We come into this world alone. Our first experience interacting with anybody is our mother. And we begin to interact with our mother even inside the womb. And once we come from out of the womb, that's our mother is our first social interaction. Then, as our mind begins to develop and we begin to what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, we begin to notice the differences of life around us. We first know our mother. Then we know this person as father and the family dog and sisters and brothers and things of that nature. But because we are alone, because we are individuals, and the only reason why we are social with our mother is because of a need for food, a need for warmth, a need to be taken care of, because we can't do that on our own. So we are forced to socialize with this person. And many of y'all, since you've been grown, since you become an adult, many of you don't socialize with your mother no more, or your father, or your sisters or brothers. You like being alone, away from them, because them people is crazy. We are born alone. And as you grow and mature, no matter how much you love your mother, you begin to drift away from her. And you become independent. And you begin to learn who you are. Family, what we know of as family. Well, the black community, we need a strong family structure. No, you need some people that have some damn sense. Some people that have some damn bravery. Some people that were willing to fight. Some people that are strong. That's what you really need. However, somewhere in the evolution of life, these individuals that were once alone, they began to find out and form these bonds. We're gonna have sex and reproduce. The male and the female. Why don't you stick around and help me with this baby? It's a survival mechanism. If the male sticks around with the female to help her with this baby, there's a better chance that this baby will be able to grow up and survive. It's a survival mechanism. And you see this all in nature. It's a survival mechanism. Whereas you see or have animals working together, they've come together. It's a survival mechanism to secure and benefit the species. And if you do it right, it does make us strong. So you are correct that if you do develop these family bonds, it can make the people as a whole stronger. It's a survival mechanism, but it's not necessary. Because what comes from out of the family mechanism, you form tribes, which is a big family. That's what a tribe is. And from tribes you get nations, and from nations, countries and nations and things of this nature, because you have this bonding, and we're supposed to be a family. However, what has happened in time, I want to say this also very quickly. when it comes to family, male and female. When you look at mammals, you really don't, unless it's herd animals, you don't really see a lot of, males and females coming together and bonding for life. You don't see a whole lot of that. You see that in the birds. There are birds, penguins, and other birds, swans, they mate for life. You don't look like a bird to me. What has happened in this family bonding is that men have come out on top. Instead of making it the family equal, men have made it where they are superior over the female. This has been going on a long time. And they use family as a way to exploit women and make them slaves using the religious ritual. And you know, in that religious ritual, you may hear that in that ritual, that oath, that what they call it, anyway, those words that the males and the females share together. Woman, make sure that you obey your husband. And that's what you see all around the earth in these families. You see these men taking charge and running things. And these men are corrupt. So they exploit women. You find women, they prostitute themselves. You see their naked bodies all over the place. They are in pornography. Women are exploited by men all over the earth. Men make themselves look like they are so righteous. And they will dig a hole in the ground, put a woman in the hole, bury her, leave her head on top of the ground, and stone her to death, and all kinds of evil things they do to women. So a problem that you also have in the family structure is when somebody becomes corrupt. Or in a nation, the nation takes people up out of their your natural self. You should not have to be taught to be a woman. You should not have to be taught to be a man. But when you grow up in a family and you grow up in these nations and these tribes, corrupt leadership decides, this is how I want man to be. This is how I want woman to be. It takes you out of what is natural to you. You should not have to be taught to be a woman or a man. There was a movie called The Blue Lagoon, and these two children were shipwrecked, a male and a female. And they grew up, they found a way to survive, these children on this island, and they grew into adults. And the young girl, she just blossomed into a woman, and the young boy just blossomed into a man. There was no woman, there was no man to teach them nothing. They even had a baby and did not know nothing about sex or anything. Who taught the male bear to be a male bear? The male lion to be a lion, or the male fox? They only had their mothers. The male lion does not participate in the raising of the cubs, or the male bear, or these animals like that, or the male rooster. How do they become male and there's no male teaching them nothing? They are raised by the single female. Explain that to me. You don't, because you don't need it. What you call manhood, the only thing a man can teach a boy is what is expected of him in their family structure, in their tribe. He cannot teach them how to be a man. So basically, really, what I'm saying, it's cool to be around good people. It's good to have to create a strong family. Oh, that's nice. But it's all right to be alone. Don't let nobody sit around and tell you that you're doing something wrong because you feel better being alone. There's an old saying that it's better to be by yourself than in the company of a fool. I will tell you, I feel much better when I'm not interacting. There's too many fools and idiots and violent people that will murder you interacting, talking about trying to have a family. You have husbands killing wives and wives killing husbands and parents killing their children and children killing parents. I'd rather be by myself than in the company of a fool. Then you live in a nation that has become the corrupt of the corrupt. And they are supposed to be or give you the example of what family life is supposed to be about. Are you crazy? What can a family of devils teach me? Can't teach me nothing.
In this civilization, in the current condition of this planet, it makes no difference where you go, makes no difference who you mess with. They have serious mental problems. They suffer from greed and arrogance, individualism, drunkenness, pedophilia. You live in a sick, sick world. And that's something we don't want to admit or confess. You thinking that you live in some type of natural life. But again, one should not feel bad. You should not feel depressed because you're single and lonely. You should not. There's nothing wrong with it. Because you came into this world alone. And you will leave alone. And those who you leave behind, they can cry. They can weep. They can look at your photo. But when it's all said and done, it's over. They cannot come with you. They can only dream about it. And that's the thing about religion. Religion gives us an opportunity so that we can imagine. Because we don't know about any afterlife. So religion helps comfort us when we lose the people that we socialize with. Because one day, we know this social connection is going to come to an end. We know this. But we don't want to accept it. But we know. And whether you accept it or not, it's our reality. Been going on for hundreds of years. And it has never stopped or changed for nobody. And nobody has ever come from the other side to tell us how it was. So basically what I'm saying to us, if you can find somebody to love, please do. If you can find somebody to share your life with, please do. That is a good thing. I love to see people who have found somebody who is compatible and they are sharing their life with, a friend to walk this journey called life with. However, that's an option. And we should not be so obsessed with this. And some of you have shared your life with somebody and you caused life to be born. And you have children in this world. So really, your life is over and you should be concentrating on what is in the best interest of your babies instead of trying to pleasure your loins. You've already done that. You have these children that you have to take care of. And we have black people, the descendants of slaves born in America. You are so obsessed with pleasuring your flesh in your massa house. How can y'all lay down and y'all just sexing each other in your massa house? You live in a house that you don't make no laws. You did not create nothing. You just live in here. But you have to pay the rent. There are animals. When you take them to the zoo, they will stop having sex because they will not, and it's just instinctive. They're not going to do something to bring their babies into the zoo. So the zookeepers have to use artificial insemination and all this other stuff to try to make these animals have babies. Here you are. You know the condition that we are in, and you just breathing and just happy in your mama's house in the zoo. And you single and you lonely. But many of y'all have babies. Your life as an adult begins with your children, and your number one priority should be those babies. And those babies need a country. They need a nation. They need land. They need something for you to give them something. Provide for them. That's what adults do. Your life is no longer your life. Your life belongs to your children. Since I am single and have no children, you would think that's not my responsibility. However, I am incorrect. As an adult person, even though I don't have children, I am still responsible for all the children that are born in my species, in my race, so-called race. I still have a responsibility to help them live better and do better than how we are living. That's what adults do. And any adult animal in a family setting, whether they have babies or not, you will see those animals doing whatever they can to help nurture and raise those babies. They don't care anything about their life. So really, I am not lonely. Your child is my child. Your son is my son. Your daughter is my daughter. Your uncle is my uncle. We are family. However, I can avoid a lot of the drama trying to help raise the children but not really socialize. Because some of y'all are out of your mind. You shouldn't have no children laying up in the house of the massa. And if you're a strong man and understand that you may have to go to war and do certain things in order to free others of people, why you want to lay around and have babies when you could be dying in the next few minutes? You want to have a family and you planning a future in the house of your slave master and their children who have no intent to give you freedom, justice, and equality as long as they are in control. So either you conquer your enemy, you separate from your enemy, or y'all just admit y'all some modern day, comfortable, back scratching where you don't itch, step and fetch it slaves. Just admit you're a slave and just be done with it. If you tell me you're a slave, then what else can I say? I said, well, they admit. Some of you are in denial. If you're a slave, just say it. Hey, I just accept things the way they are. If I'm a slave, so be it. It ain't no if. You are a slave. Just call it as it is. I'm a slave. And I will defend my massa. Just admit it. Because I want my massa to look good upon me so I can continue for master to give me certain privileges. Just admit it. That's all we have to do. Instead of living in denial. I am not your slave. So I'm not going to act and behave like a slave. And so my attitude is strange for those who have decided to submit to slavery. A person who is comfortable in the jail, when people start talking about, I'm breaking out of here, I'm getting out, they look at the people who want to break out of the jail. Are you crazy? It's impossible. See, that's how you talk. You'll never be free. You'll never do this. We'll never do that. Even though it seems impossible. That don't mean I'm not going to stop trying. Because as soon as you stop trying, then there is no possibility. But as long as you continue to try, the possibility is there. And those who enslave, those who capture, they want you to just get comfortable. Because then that makes their job much easier. They don't have to watch you no more. They don't have to improve security. Well, you're going to always have to keep an eye on me. You're always going to have to try to improve security. Because this is one trapped animal that's going to try to get out of the cage instead of be comfortable. I don't like this cage. I'm not going to get comfortable in this cage. You can give me $1 million. You can give me gold and silver. You can give me a record deal. You can give me all the things you think that I might want. But when it's all said and done, I'm scratching at the bars, banging at the bars, digging in the soil, digging in the floor, trying to get out.